want close. No. Or do you want to see where she goes to? Oh, shit. There's someone jumping. Alright, what do you want? Next. You guys have to squat down. Yeah, just look at, oh, look. It's a,
do we want to get the whole group?
Can you look at her?
Let's go, guys.
All right, guys. Me too.
All right, Capri, you ready?
All right.
Smile.
There's a video right now going viral of a family having a photo shoot for the Christmas holiday on the beach. And the wife is talking about how, for some reason, miraculously today, my husband is smiling, being engaged with the photos, like this is rare for him. And I think she pans over to a much younger woman in a bikini on the beach that he seems to be smiling at and can't stop staring at during the family photo shoot. He goes on to say that, we were both looking, and all. This is the same thing I was talking about the other day about the woman who was out to eat with her boyfriend, and he started commenting about other women's bodies in front of her, and he was like, is that okay that I do that? When you normalize men staring at, ogling at, commenting on other women's bodies, they're gonna keep on doing it, and eventually that's gonna escalate. The fact that this grown man didn't see it as inappropriate to be staring at, to the point where he even made the photographer uncomfortable, this other woman while on a family photo shoot, is beyond me. I believe they have 4 kids. He's normalizing that behavior for his sons and for his daughter. Never fall in love with the Al Bundy type, the kind of man that's always ogling and staring at women and talking about other women, and then he's supposed to love you deep down. I don't need my man's love for me to be deep down anywhere. I'm not digging for it. I'm not searching for it underneath weaponized incompetence, underneath him commenting about other women. I don't need a man's love for me to be deep down. It better be shallow, okay? Right there where I can see it.
I just saw a video of a family of 7, a mom, a dad, and 5 little kids taking family photos on the beach. If you guys don't know, I am a photographer, so seeing stuff like this really hurts my heart. The caption said, "Suddenly, my husband doesn't mind taking family photos," implying that every other time you take family photos, he acts like a martyr. He acts like he's being tortured. Again, photographers do notice this does happen sometimes. You as a wife push out 5 whole entire children, carry each of them for 9.5 months, and he can't even be bothered to take a photo with the family that you created with him. And of course, why does he not mind taking pictures all of a sudden? There's a girl on the beach at the same time as them in a bikini, guaranteed close to half the age of your wife, considering you guys have 5 kids together, and the girl in the bikini looks to be a teenager. And of course, he keeps looking over at her, looking over at her, looking over at her. And the wife, instead of showing embarrassment, shame over the way her husband is lusting after this young girl in the background, the wife just goes, ha ha ha, I was looking too. I promise you this. I don't care how many times you women or girls want to say, we check out girls together. We check out girls together. Oh, I look too. I'm just as bad as a man. Actually, it's not the same at all. Because the difference is he would absolutely self-pleasure to that. You would not. He may be self-pleasuring to that. You are not. Men will lust after women in public, even when they're with their wife or kid, and then self-pleasure to the thought of that girl later. Not 100% of the time, but it definitely happens. When a man says, I have a celebrity crush, he's telling you, this is a famous person I self-pleasure to. There's a reason he's not checking out guys with you. There's a reason he's not going to ogle over a man at the beach the way he is that young girl. The disrespect to his wife, to his children, and in my opinion, to the photographer. Maybe she didn't care, but in my opinion, that's disgusting behavior. As a husband, as a father, this family has 4 sons and 1 daughter. All 4 of those sons are seeing the way that their father continues to lust after a young girl while being committed, pretending to be committed to their mother. These boys are being raised with the idea and the understanding that women are objects. Dehumanizing women for my own sexual gratification or lust is acceptable because I am a man. That daughter is being raised to understand any man I get with, I have to be okay with him lusting after teenagers on the beach, lusting after young women in bikinis, lusting after anyone outside of the relationship, because that's a man and that's what he does. I can't even describe to you how heartbroken I am for that family, especially seeing how hard that woman and that mother must work to continue to look as beautiful as she looks. The outfits are put together perfectly. Her hair, her makeup, everything. She's a beautiful woman. And her husband isn't even interested in staring at her while they're on the beach because he's too busy staring at a girl in a bikini he doesn't even know. One day your daughter is going to be the age of that girl he was looking at, and you're going to be much older. And when your daughter brings over her friends and whoever else, or your sons get girlfriend, unless your husband recovers from this lustful behavior, his lustful object will become the young girls that are entering his house, the young girls that are being brought around him. All men do it. You'll never find one who doesn't. Yes, you will. Men do not have to do this. We simply make excuses for it. And when we feel like we are in too deep because we've already had a family with him and we don't think they're going to change for us, we accept it and say, oh, it's okay. I was looking at her too. It's not okay and it's not acceptable. And if this really is what you're okay with in your relationship, don't even listen to it. But if you do want fidelity, commitment, and loyalty, trust me when I tell you, there are men out there that will give that to you. And your loyalty is worth his. If you can be faithful and committed, so can he.
Of comments that were under this video because I think it's really telling of the character of this type of male. So Claire says, I remember my dad saying that he was excited for my sister and me to grow up so we'd bring our high school friends over to the house. How gross. And nobody said anything about it. Just, oh yeah, okay. And beneath it, Tiff says, is it Amanda from Ivanelli? She won't leave him. Her husband is rich. How sad. And that's the thing. On this channel, we don't believe in settling for a man who can't afford to have a family. But also, money doesn't make up for poor character. We've seen this with Isis, aka the trophy wife. Settling for a man just because he has money does not work. Okay, so Katie says, exactly my mom and her BF. When I told her he was staring at me, pacing around, trying to look away, and visibly frantic when I was in a bikini at 15 years old, she just said, well, that's what men do. And the comment beneath it is from a male. So see how men even know how they are supposed to be and that they can control themselves? Because he says, male here, our middle school PE teacher used to watch the girls run during PE. We all made fun of him for it, but at the time didn't understand the significance. Wish I would have seen it as a grown man. And yeah, they know. They know that this is wrong. Another example, yet again, of a man who is not like this. This comment says, men are predators and those are facts, but my dad was never like that. He looked at young girls as they were his daughters. He loved my mother so much. Dad, I miss you. And good on this person's father for setting a good example. A lot of these dads think that their children won't remember these kinds of things. They do, and this is how they remember you. Underneath it, this person says, for real, men literally shag dead animals, children, and women. So people should not be shocked by what she's saying. And Jess Brower says, I used to nanny for a family with 2 little girls. The dad would talk about how he couldn't wait for his girls to be teens so that he could see their friends walking around the pool and that. I told the mom and I was fired. I keep telling y'all that pick-me women are dangerous because pick-me women are enablers of predatory men. Goldie said, my dad acted like this with my mother and she would then echo shit like, yeah, she's hot, as if to impress him. Not only was it sad, but it's still the worst values in me to witness this as a child. Yeah, this is just a reminder. If y'all haven't seen our video on pick-me mothers, please go watch it. Manders says, my grandpa always had binoculars. They were so cool. He'd give them to us on road trips, but he'd also pull them out on the beach. And he always had something to show my dad. I figured it out later. And then there's yet another person showing how their dad wasn't predatory. Joanna June said, my dad is not perfect, but every time we brought friends, he would quietly walk to his room and stay in his room until my friends left. He told us he never wanted to make anyone feel uncomfortable. And that's the difference right there. It's not to say that a man needs to stay in his room to avoid being predatory, but see how he was able to take the steps that he felt were necessary not to be a creep and a predator on those children? He felt that this was what he had to do to make sure that he was being a responsible man, and that's what he did. They can control themselves, and they always have a choice.